Okay, you're right.
Well, there's my boy.
Well, this is what it shows.
Just in case.
It's blurry.
See, it's not working.
It's definitely working. That's awesome. Hello, Rebecca.
Hi.
We are coming at you in black and white tonight, trying to change it up a little bit. Jonna Wellborn, Bevilacqua, you are watching.
My son thought it would be fun to have his mouth in the camera.
Yeah.
But I was sucking on the camera. I said for me that my mouth to be in the
There's our
camera.
puppy dog. In case
Tide.
anybody wants to see Tide, as in Roll Tide.
Well, Tide.
Or Tide like the ocean.
Our favorite spot.
Because
Don't
we
shake
like,
the table,
we
bud.
like the ocean.
Yeah, we do like the ocean. What you doing tonight, Rebecca? Besides being
Oh,
right on
yeah.
time.
He needs a little haircut. He gets
long
kind
and
of fluffy. Yeah, but he's cute and he loves to go for rides in the car, in the
Yes.
truck. It's amazing how
He
he
really
knows
does.
when you're
Favorite
leaving.
thing
He
ever.
like run, tries to get to the car to go for a ride.
Anywhere we're going.
I was thinking, does anybody know, maybe you know, Rebecca, why do dogs like to hang their head out the window? Why?
What up,
Because they
Lori?
like the wind.
Yeah, but why do they like the wind in their face so much? Like,
Because
what
it
is
gets
it?
gets the fur out of his eyeball.
It's the fur. Just put
Oh,
Evan
thank
to bed
you.
listening to my favorite peeps. That's sweet. You're our
That's
favorite
awesome.
peep tip.
Yes, you just live a long way away. But praise the Lord.
Next time we're
Communication.
starting like that.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, this is what happens when you go live with the 10-year-old. You get a mouth and an eyeball.
That's awesome.
Hi, Lori.
That's good stuff. Good stuff.
Do we look black and white to you guys? Is it showing up or it just looks that way for us?
We were trying to change the filter.
We're playing
Looks-
around.
It looks black and white to us. And we're doing it at the table, which is much closer, so we can actually see the people
She said
responding.
yes.
So that is
Yeah.
really cool to be able to see them,
So you don't need to be loud.
you know, as they
Oh, yeah.
come through. And it's real
Yeah.
time.
Well,
real time.
should I keep it on just in case?
Yeah, you don't need to.
Okay, yeah. Oh, this is good. I like that.
Yeah, I like being able to see it.
That's the whole point why we did this.
Yes, very good. What are you guys doing tonight?
She said she put Evan to bed.
Oh,
It's
and then she's listening to her favorite peeps. That's
Yes.
awesome. Yes.
Yes.
Let me catch up.
Curtis Jackson. What's up? What's up?
Curtis.
Yeah. Oh,
You
eyeball
got-
kisses. There you go.
Nice.
That's what Lori called them, eyeball kisses. Yes.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's it. What up, Curtis? How you doing tonight, big man?
It's like falling down.
Good, I'm sure. Off work, at home in the AC. It's always good.
This
Always
fuzziness.
good. Well, welcome
that's
to This Is Us. This is Us Life Coaching. This is us.
This is
This
us,
is the whole
even-
crew.
Even the dog. Even
Yes. What up, Darlene? My girl. That's awesome.
movie night.
Movie night.
Nice.
Those are awesome. We love movie nights too. Movie nights,
What
especially
movie
Noah.
are you watching, or should you say? I haven't seen a good movie in a long time. I think Wonder was the last
Yes.
movie that I really
And
enjoyed
that was
with
awesome.
Julia Roberts in it. I think that was like last year.
The Greatest Showman was good.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
true.
The Greatest Showman. Yeah, that was pretty good.
That was
It was a
definitely good.
musical though. I'm not really into musicals, but that one, because the plot was so
Girl.
good, it was like willing to overlook the musical
Yes.
part.
Yes.
Hi,
Musical.
Darlene.
What up, folk? Love you, girl. It's awesome.
Look, Tide's like going to sleep.
He is falling asleep and he's getting heavy.
Yeah, he's like, oh, this is awesome. This is us. Well, for those of you that don't know us, this is my amazing son, Noah Bevilacqua.
Hey, Jason.
What up, Jason Myrick? He is the youngest black belt in his class.
Not the youngest.
You're not the youngest anymore?
Well, actually,
The first
Well,
first degree
either
black
way,
belt.
I am
he
the
is.
youngest. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the youngest.
Yes, He is first degree black belt, and so proud of him and his excellence and his discipline and his grit to stay with it for all these years. And then we have my amazing Gianna Bevilacqua, who is level 7 gymnast. Amen. Last year she was first in the state in the beam and on the floor at level 6.
Second on being first on floor.
Oh.
First on floor, second on beam.
Yes.
So, yes.
Yes, that was level 6. So this year we're hoping for some good stuff at level 7. And both of them are super determined, and they just do it week after week. It's awesome. Very good. What up, Heather? Glad you're
Hello.
on here. We missed you the other day, but I know you had stuff going on. It was awesome. Your family's awesome. It's good
Thanks,
stuff.
darling. We like the black and white too. Phil was flipping through the different filters. This seemed like the most appropriate for tonight. That wasn't too crazy and have music in the background or whatever. But you know, when you do it every week, you want to mix it up, mix up backgrounds, mix up scenery. And we're always open for any kind of content, any kind of topics you guys want to talk about. We always want to share whatever you guys are interested in or curious about.
Yes. And for the most part, marriage and relationships has been the biggest, and then family and parenting. And,
Relationships, really, just in
relationships in
general.
general.
Like even tonight's, I mean, that's like relationship, because hello, we're in relationships everywhere
Yes,
we go, at work,
everywhere.
at home, single, married, siblings, right? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. There's Grandma.
What up,
Hi,
Big Rose
Grandma.
McDonald?
Here's your
Mama.
granddog. Here's your granddog.
Granddog,
That's actually
granddaughter,
her great
grandson.
Oh, great granddog. Okay.
Yeah. We're her
It's
parents.
hilarious.
You're her grand people.
Eyeball kisses, Jason Myrick said too. That's good
Oh, what does
stuff.
that mean? He's watching it behind?
Maybe he started it live from the beginning. I don't know.
That's interesting.
What does SMBA?
My girl, SMBA. Ooh. Who can guess? Ding, ding, ding. SMBA.
Get a free
SMBA.
phone.
Whoa, you got a phone to give? Good
So
stuff.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I figured as much. I figured as much. That's good.
Okay, no guessing.
All right.
Okay, so our topic tonight, what did we
Yes.
say? We said,
Is your personality causing
Unless you
conflict?
wanna see her.
I figured as much. Darlene.
Peace. Peace from me and Tide.
Yeah. Love you guys.
we'll be done in just a few minutes.
Yay.
Love you.
Whoa,
Oh,
you good?
boy.
All right.
Tripping over cords. Okay, so we said,
Go ahead.
does your personality create conflict? Did anybody have any ideas? Did you think that your personality creates conflict, or did you think a certain type of personality creates conflict?
We'll wait a second to see if any of you people are on
We
here,
did.
since we're able to see right now, so the interaction back and forth can be a lot better because it's almost real time. You know, we're not seeing it through her phone, which has been a pretty steady, like 15, 18 seconds behind. Jason says absolutely. Lori says yes. Darlene says probably. Rebecca, too sensitive.
Sometimes.
Lori, yes, it does. So it was kind of a loaded question because everybody's personality creates conflict.
That was our opinion.
That-
That's what. What up,
What up, Rachel? Roll! Roll Tide! That's such the best name. It's like the classic last name to be an Alabama fan. I love it.
Shiny things.
Yes,
Yes.
it happens. So, Rachel, we asked, do you think your personality causes conflicts? That was the question.
What do you
and the
say?
topic.
What do you say?
What do you say? What do you say? What do you say?
She says hearts.
Yeah, that's Roll Tide.
Yeah.
And personality, conflict, War
Oh,
Eagle.
here we go.
Ah, here we go.
Oh, boy.
Roll Tide and yes. Okay, good. So basically, like I said, it was a loaded question. We'll jump into it. Everybody's personality causes conflict within themselves and in their mind. This is kind of a part B or a part 2 from last week's, where we were talking about being kind to yourself and being nice to yourself and saying nice things to yourself. Marcia.
Marissa.
Marissa. A million years later. Hey, I can barely see it. Look like Marcia.
Oh, whatever.
That's a good excuse, right? Sorry, I got it wrong. Strong personalities can tie up. Yes. What up, Amber? Glad that you are on here. Thanks for tuning in. How about them dogs? They could go this year. They got a squad. It's good. Okay. I'm gonna do my best to not do shiny things. Let me just start here and then you can go. So everybody's personality causes conflicts because within ourselves. So it's part B of communicating with yourself, right? So we're still in communication with yourself. America, that's right. America making miracles. So everybody's personality causes conflict within themselves because our view and our lens of how we do life on everything out here around us is viewed through our personality. So when we view life the way we would do things or the way our personality is, like strong-willed, DIS, if you've done the DISC personality tests, you know, everybody's different. And so what happens is everybody's personality is different. So if you're not with the same personality, which is the key here, which is most of the time.
Especially at work. Well,
Yes,
everywhere, really.
everywhere.
Yeah, usually you don't
Relationships.
marry the same personality.
Yeah, because we're
Yeah.
opposites, and like Rachel Roll and myself are very much the same, and we pretty much always get along, and we always see things the same way because our filter is the same. So we're very
And I'm
touchy and
usually
feely
like
and talky and
My friends' husbands.
yeah.
I have them wear their personality.
Yes. So that's kind of where we're going with this. What up, Emily? Hey, girl. I'm so glad that you're on here. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm talking about personalities causing conflict, and our own personality causes conflict within ourselves when we view the world with our personality. So I'm going to go ahead and you can jump in and get your part
I
in
like
there.
to interrupt you, though.
I know.
That's how
I know. We're
That's my
still working on it.
personality. I like to interrupt, but so behavior
Darlene.
styles communicate in a different manner. Behavior styles, we're still talking about communication.
Yes.
And we thought it would be fun to talk about how our behavior is. Each person behaves differently. They have a different personality. And so don't you think that that would kind of determine how we communicate with one another? And
Yeah.
when we watch somebody else's behavior, what is the story or judgment that we make about that person based
Right.
on their behavior?
It's totally how it happens.
Don't you guys do that all the time? Like somebody does something at work and you're thinking, if I were doing that, this is what that would mean to me.
Right.
But we don't know what their personality is. So when they're doing the same thing, okay, but let me stick to my notes here. People
Stick to your
don't
notes.
do things for my reasons. They have their own. So people can do the same things that you would be doing, but the reasons why they're doing them is completely different. So I could watch somebody else do the same thing that I would be doing, and I immediately attach a judgment on what that means.
Yes.
Even though for the other person, what they were doing, it could mean something completely different, which
9
is
times
why,
out of 10 it does.
yeah, communication is so important. If you start having ill feelings or thinking that something was messed up, you should communicate about it because you're probably wrong.
Yes.
Whatever the reason is, you're probably wrong. And then it will drive a wedge in between them because you're going to start treating that person how you're judging their actions.
Yeah.
That as if your judgment was true. Now you're going to start treating them that way with
Yeah.
the story you made up in your head.
Exactly. And we have to be able to own the fact that we're judgmental people. We try to say that we're gracious and all of these things, but it's so natural for a human to judge things. Even if it's not like, oh, well, you know, they're this or they're that or they did this, and so I'm going to let them be and I'm not going to judge them. Like, we get that, no judgment zone, gracing everybody. But we're talking about the small little teeny things that happen so fast throughout the day with your spouse, with your partner,
With your
kids, with your friends, with your coworkers, with your boss or your employees. They happen so fast, you know, like even with her, like, you know, here's a quick example and then you can jump in. She's very short, very sharp, very direct. She's
Get to the point.
always been like this.
Tell me the bottom line.
Yeah, get to the point, move the fluff, just tell me what's going on, give me the meat or, you know, give me the reason for the call or the talk or whatever. And so I'll hear her on the phone or she'll be talking to somebody or doing something and she'll say something and I will be like, like if I was the person on the other line, I would be going, oh, that was kind of sharp. Or sometimes when we're just talking amongst ourselves, she'll be very direct and sharp and give me like a 2 or 3 word answer. And I'm like, the more the merrier, let's talk through it, let's talk forever.
Let's say a million words to make my one point here where people have to sift through all this conversation that I said to figure out what I'm really trying to say.
Yes. So we're different. Like
Yes.
my personality is different and hers is different. So even with that, sometimes I'll tell her, just talk a little more.
And
Or-
I'll tell him, just don't talk so long. Just say it.
Yes. And so that's the story of, like, I'm judging what she's saying because it's short and sharp, and I'm like, can't we just talk for a little bit here? Can we talk through this some? And she's saying, stop talking and just give me the point. So even, and I know that, and she knows that. And so we're able to do this together, and
And not
I make
take it
and I make
personally.
fun of her and she makes fun of me.
Yeah.
It's, you
Because
know,
we're not behavioral clones. We're not
Yes.
clones. So we're learning to value each person's personality.
exactly. But because we're so close, like, I'm never hurt or offended if she doesn't give me what I want. But see, that's what I'm trying to get across in all the talking is is
Break it
I
on
want more talk, more communication, more, like, you know, words involved. And so if I was getting offended at her for not giving it to me, that was because I want her to be like me. So, like, do you see that? If I was getting offended. So for somebody who's not as close, or your friends or your family or your neighbor or coworkers, if they don't know you as intimate, they could think that you're being sharp, mean, or short. She's had the record for her whole life since back in St. Pete, where she's short and sharp, or she's mad at me, or I did something wrong, or she's angry, and she's typically never of those things, really. It's just because she's short and sharp, but that's who she is. So her personality causes conflict with people like me, and mine causes conflict with people like her, because she'll tell me in the middle of a conversation, just shut up.
I
What?
don't.
Oh, whatever. Just tell me what you're going to tell me.
Because
Just tell
when
me.
I'm listening, I'm trying to get to what you're trying to tell me.
Yes.
So the more you're doing this, I'm still searching for, like, okay, what are you really trying to tell me?
Yes. And her kind of personality was somebody that talks a lot. Typically feels like there's some kind of manipulation in there because you're talking so much. Like, just get to the point. You know, just come right through. What up, Audra? I'm glad you got to tune in.
So hopefully
Yes,
you guys
Mary.
can, lay this over your relationships that you have at work or in your marriage or with your kids or with your friends. Like, for instance, this was a good example that Gianna was going to watch my friend Rachel's kids while she went and did something.
Rachel, roll!
So I pulled up, dropped off Gianna to watch her kids because I knew Rachel had an appointment that she had to get to. So I literally pulled up, dropped my kid off, and I think I just waved through the window, backed up, and left. And so she sent me a message and was like, wow, you didn't even get out to say hello or anything. You were just, like, off. So she could have taken that as, man, that was so rude. Because of her personality, she
Just
would
like
never
mine.
do that.
I would never do that.
If she did do that, it must mean that she's angry or, you know, having some kind of attitude. So she could have ran with that and then told the next person. Jonna came over earlier, just dropped Gian off, and then just drove off and left. It was so rude. And then based on that
Creating
judgment,
conflict.
yeah, start creating conflict
Conflict.
because of judging my personality because it's not like hers. But instead, there was communication.
Lifelong friends here.
Yeah, and just kind of joking, saying, hey, you didn't even get out and say hello or give me a hug or anything. But my reason for doing that was not out of a place of trying to be rude or disconnect or whatever. I was thinking I was being kind and respecting her time because
She
I
had an
knew
appointment.
she had an appointment to get to. So I didn't want to be sitting there eating up her time, making her feel like she needed to have conversation with me and then make her late for her appointment. So I'm just dropping my kid off and then I'm going to leave so you can get to your appointment. So see how it's
Rachel said, I was like, rude. I told her I would have been the same way. I'd have been
But-
like, you didn't even say hi.
yeah, because for her and her personality, that would have been rude to her because that's not how she operates. So she could have went with that. But if you think about my personality and if we talked, which we ended up talking, I'm thinking I'm being kind and nice,
Not wasting
trying
your
to
time.
respect her time and let her get to her appointment and not be late. We can chat later when you're not in a hurry. So you see how that we do that all the time with people all day long in our
Where we
relationships.
just make quick judgments.
Make up stories in our heads.
And then what happens is out of that quick judgment that we make up a story. Like, let's just keep playing this one out for a little bit since it's on the table. Rachel could have said, wow, Jonna must be mad at me and I must have done something wrong. And then
She's rejecting me.
Yeah, we start backtracking. What did I say? What could I have done? When's the last time we talked? And so we start rehearsing this
Yeah.
story, which is internal conflict.
Trying to figure out the why.
She's trying to figure out why Jonna was just rude to her. And it continues to go on, and you play out this story. And 9 times out of 10, we make up a negative story. And really, if we can pay attention to the fact that communicating through it, but knowing that, like, okay, Jonna loves me, and Rachel loves her, and they have a great communication and a great friendship. So probably didn't do anything wrong, and we just kind of hash through it and we communicate. Say, hey, this is what I was thinking. And so with the communication, you get through it, right? But when we make up this story, so again, we'll continue playing it out. Rachel could have said, hey, she was being rude and yada, yada, yada. Talk to somebody else about it. Then that person's thinking Jonna's rude. And then when Jonna shows up to see them, then it turns into be, oh, well, she's being short with me too. That must have been what Rachel was talking about. And then these things start to spread around.
Creating all
And
kinds
it's creating
of
conflict.
because
And it's just
personality. Yeah,
it's just
different
personalities.
personalities.
Even though I would have said the same thing. Like, I totally would have said, wow, rude. What did I do wrong? She didn't even say hi to me. So, but that's my personality. So we're doing all of this communication to get you guys to recognize and realize that the stories we make up about other people typically are not the right story.
Which
right?
is why communication is so
Is
important.
key.
I put be curious, not judgmental.
I love
That is really good. Be curious and not judgmental.
Love that.
So many times we put the judgment out there. So catch yourself when you start attaching a story or a why when really you don't know why because you don't want to communicate about it. Just get curious and be like, I'm just curious. Why did you just drop off your kid and back up and leave? Like I thought you would say, hey, I'm just curious about that. And then I would have had the opportunity to say something and then we move along.
We move along with the truth.
With the
real-
truth,
with the truth.
exactly.
Instead of a made up story, which causes things inside of us to
Oh, girl, we got lots of stories.
We're like
I just
besties,
picked
so
one.
we could go story for hours of all of us together. That's hilarious.
Because it's relationship. Yeah, there's
Yeah,
so
it's
many
real.
opportunities. Yeah.
It's real, and with all the years that we have, I mean, you know, the reason that our relationship is so good is because we communicate. You know, that's why it works. It's why we've been able to grow from kids to adults, and from single to married, and from no kids to having kids, all those times because of communication and finding out the truth, and you know, even stuff like that. I mean, even I remember Rachel when she would hear a story from other people that were not nice about us, or a story that was made up in somebody's head. Rachel would always come over to our office and be like, "Hey,
I'm curious.
I'm
Not,
curious.
She didn't say that, but
This is-
basically,
this is what I heard, and I was wondering what's the truth in all this." And then we tell our side of the story, or our personality side, and she's like, "Oh, okay, that's what I thought." You know, and so
Just
again,
giving people a chance and not just throwing your judgment out there and saying your judgment of that person's behavior is the truth.
Yeah.
Just because that's what the behavior would mean to you doesn't mean that's what it means when the other person is doing it.
Yes, for sure.
Like one example was, say somebody's really distant and they're not. You're distracting me.
I'm sorry, I was trying to read Darlene's thing. When there is much love involved, there is also much opportunity to have hurt feelings, which is, I can't see the rest, it wouldn't let me open it. But yes, for sure, when there's a lot of love, there's room for hurt feelings. Yeah. And so, you know, with those hurt feelings is that conflict that we're talking about. And lots of times it's the story that's being made in somebody's head that allows for the hurt feelings. Like, I've had several people that have talked to me before that have loved me enough to communicate with me, and they were
and value the relationship. I think if you
Value the
value it, it's
relationship.
worth being uncomfortable and having the conversation and caring enough to even ask.
yeah, they would be like, "Hey, you know, I saw you at church and I was going to shake your hand and you just walked right by me." And you know, this is a typical pastor story we hear all the time.
It could happen at work though. Anybody at
Yeah,
work.
or anywhere, you know. And so they were like, I kind of had my feelings hurt, la la la. And I was like, man, the Wi-Fi wasn't working, and I was on a mission trying to get the Wi-Fi hooked back up, and I was doing something for Scott, trying to reset the router, and church is supposed to start in 2 minutes. And so once the person found out where I was mentally,
Yeah.
then it was like, oh, I see that you were focused and you didn't actually push me away or not be nice to me or not be kind to me because I did something wrong. But they had a story made up that I was this or that and the other. And so we can see it's just so small and so simple and so fast. But man, we do this all the time. You know, we do it all day.
I want to interrupt that.
Go ahead and interrupt
Yeah,
me.
I'm going to interrupt.
Interrupt me.
Keep your mental and emotional health in check daily. Like, this is a great way. When you think of mental and emotional health, you probably don't think of this type of thing. But really, if you play it out and think about all our relationships and the day-to-day and how many judgments we put out there and all the stories that we make up in our head and how it starts renting all this space in our head. And then we have like a full soap opera drama show going on in all these different relationships. Don't you think that that would affect your mental and emotional health? Right? Isn't that good? I mean, that would
Totally.
affect your mental, emotional health. So,
Shuts down all those stories and brings you back to reality.
yeah.
And for me, you know, I like to throw out there that, you know, the Bible talks about believing the best in people. And this really goes with what we're saying is when you're believing the best in people, it shuts those stories down so that you can communicate. You know, like, I believe the best in you. If I think you were being rude, or if I think you were being this or you being that, I'm going to believe the best in this situation. I'm not going to let a crazy story come out. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to let this story play out. I'm going to communicate it and then find out what the real story is.
I'm
And
going to
believing
say,
the
I'm
best.
curious.
Yeah, I love that line. It's a
I'm
good one.
curious.
I'm curious.
Help me understand.
Help me understand why you just flipped me the bird. Just kidding.
Help me
unless John.
understand why you just did that. It gives the opportunity of
Yeah.
not creating a story, not passing a judgment, not getting all up in your feelings about something that might not even be. Give the other person the opportunity
Yeah,
to tell you.
so good.
Just be curious enough, value them enough to find out instead of making up your own story and judging them and
For sure.
driving yourself nuts, and then treating them based on your judgment, being rude to them, start
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
disconnecting from them on a story you have in your head that isn't even true. Then the other person is like, what's up with them? What's their problem? Why are they disconnecting? Why are they treating me this way? And then there's all this conflict that we've created because we're not behavioral clones,
Off an assumption.
just based off our different personalities.
Yeah, that everybody's not the same.
And both people had good intentions.
Yeah.
Nobody had any. I
Yeah,
can't
back
think of the words,
to
but
back to the story that we started with John and Rachel there. Neither one of them had bad intentions.
Yeah,
at
bad
all.
intentions.
There was no conflict in the situation whatsoever, but it could have went out into being a big story. But it's grace. It's beautiful. It was worked through, talked about, and knowing that there was no intention on your part or her part. We're just a little bit different. And so that's the beauty of not making the assumptions and believing the best. That's right. Oh, let me just see here. Emily, give the same grace we want others to give us. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Which is the heartbeat of believing the best in somebody else. Talk to them, communicate with them.
give them a chance.
Give them a chance.
Yeah.
But with the conflict within ourselves, if we'll just play that card, I'm going to believe the best, and I'm not going to make up this crazy negative story. We're going to stick with that, telling ourselves, I believe in them, I believe in what they're doing, I believe in that they're good and that they weren't intentionally hurting
yeah.
me. And so when I see you, then we're going to talk about it, or a text or a box or whatever,
Yeah.
and make through it. So we do that ourselves, our own story. The communication in ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah, the communication in ourselves. That has to be first and foremost positive. Positive, right? It's awesome. Yes. Ooh.
Ooh, there you go. It must be the black and white shade.
putting the shadows out there.
Put some marker on there or something.
That's hilarious.
Some extra shading.
That's awesome. Anyways, that is tonight's episode. We just wanted to leave you with that. So the takeaway from tonight is to believe the best in other people. As Emily said, show grace to other people as you would want them to show to you if there's a miscommunication. And if your personalities are different, they tend to cause problems. But I don't want to be like my wife, and she doesn't want to be me. So we figure out how to live together and communicate. And now we just crack on each other all the time.
Yeah, just tease each other.
Yeah, it becomes beautiful. And the only problem where it's not is if I have her respond to an email or a text from me, she'll be like, that's fine. I'll be like, oh, no, hold on, baby. I need you to write some more words in there because I don't ever respond with fine. That's hilarious. I forgot about that one. You can't text for me
Okay.
because you don't talk long enough.
How will I recover?
That's awesome. We love you guys. We believe in every one of you. We think that you're amazing. Everybody that's going to watch, we believe you're amazing. If you'd share these out, put some hearts on there, tell some people about it. Like the page if you haven't liked it. Go to our YouTube channel. This is Us Life Coaching on YouTube. We've got hours of video on there from parenting, marriage, boundaries, all kinds of cool stuff for personal growth. And we love you guys so much. Thank you so
Love
much
you.
for tuning in. You guys are the bomb. This is
This is
us.
us.